Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Tonight we're gonna be playing a little bit of Flesh and Blood. I say a little bit of Flesh and Blood, like I'm not always playing Flesh and Blood, but I'm gonna be playing Oldhim tonight. Nick's hanging out with us tonight. Say hi, Nick.
Hey guys.
Nick's gonna be hanging out with us tonight, helping us jam some games to prepare for this weekend. So I'm excited to get some games in. Also, I just woke up from a nap, so if I seem a little groggy, I apologize. Oh, all right. Let's hop into it. Planning its Bravos, so we're gonna go first. Um, Part of me wonders if it's better to just be on a Nothos in this matchup as opposed to Titan's Fist and Ram's Head. Let's just stick with Titan's Fist and Ram's Head and just see what happens. Remembrance, sigils. Leave everything else in. Try to go get them. Oh, Ben says hi, Nick.
Hey.
Nap equals cocaine run. I don't think you understand how much I value my naps, Ben. I guess we'll start here. Arsenal that. I was like, hopefully your hand wasn't like stacked or anything.
No.
Oh. I was like, there's always that like off chance that like I'm just gonna like give you like an insanely good start hand to start with. Let's pitch Macho Grande to come in like this. And then we'll Fate for Seeing to cover up all 9. I think we'll put that on the bottom. We're just trying to churn through our deck here. Hammer. Oh no, bad idea. He really likes his hammer. Are you an Avengers fan, Nick?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I love all of those movies. And we'll Arsenal this. Tell me, is it the reason why? Bravo and Oldhim such an interesting matchup to me. So we have the option of, I think we'll just play this and put this well, I guess I don't want to put that on the bottom. I just put one on the bottom. So right now my first pitch stacked hand is going to be Staunch, Brothers in Arms, whatever the blue I just picked was. I think it's a disable, and then whatever the next card we put on the bottom is. So I think we're just going to sink and not sink anything here. I guess I could always sink this. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try sinking the mulch and see what we draw here. And then we can just go ahead and use this. It's not a bad 5th card to put on the bottom, and then we just get to have a pretty decent turn. Yeah, I don't mind this. I think this is a fine play. We get to keep our life total at 40. Use all of our resources here. All right, Zealous Belting would go again. This is like one of my favorite cards in the mirror. I'm about to ask you a weird one, Nick. Have you ever seen a Goofy movie?
Yeah. It's a good movie.
I was like, so I really like those like cartoon, like animated movies, and I've been listening to the soundtrack from it. Well, I've been listening to like the 3 songs that I like from it today, and I watch all these things from my childhood, and I'm like, man, I'm like music was like really good, and when I was a kid, and I just didn't realize it. So Nick using his Crown of Providence is going to make our Command and Conquers better throughout the rest of the game. Well, Chief called. This ain't the hand we're looking for. Hopefully next turn doesn't consist of anything super powerful here. I mean, if it does, it does. Like, facts, 2000 music was amazing. Yes, it absolutely was. You are 1000% correct. Oh, and you have a go again turn? That's the worst. So let's just go ahead and react here. We'll see what comes after this before we decide what we're going to block with from hand. We'll put this on the bottom. I want to preserve good cards for my hand. Yeah, dude, like early 2000s music is like some of my favorite music probably of all time. Like I'm a big 80s fan just because that's what my parents listened to when I was growing up, but like early 2000s music is like where it's at. Like not only like the music from like when I was like movies and things like that when I was growing up, but also like the music from like um I'm having a stroke right now. The music from like just in general during that time period. Like I really like Blink-182, like Green Day, Simple Plan. Like I really like all of that kind of music. So this is just for 6. So Linkin Park, heck yeah, I love Linkin Park, dude. So block Glacial Footsteps, Ram's Head, take 2, throw Hammer, Arsenal this. That seems fine. I mean, it's that, or I could block 3, take 1 more, and then throw 8 back at Nick. But I don't get an Arsenal. I think I'm definitely playing the more Oldhim style game if I block with Ram's Head here and only take 2. I think that's one of my problems is I get too greedy in these kinds of matchups. I think these matchups are based on like attrition and like playing it out slowly. Oh, Rip Chester? Yes, Rip Chester indeed. And honestly, like Linkin Park made a lot of great music through like all of the Transformer series. Like, and like I know that like Michael Bay gets a lot of hate because they're action movies, but Linkin Park had a lot of good songs in those movies. Like I feel like it was basically like the Linkin Park soundtrack. Man, should have hung on to that tuna counter. This would have been a great hand. Michael Bay Transformers are GOAT movies? Yes, they absolutely are. And I get a lot of hate for thinking those kinds of things. So I'm not going to lie, it makes me very happy to hear another human being say that. It really does. So 7 dominate, right? Tear asunder, yeah. And I guess let's start here because it's what we need to do. I think I'm just gonna take the easy way out and play the staunch response here. Feels like the correct play. We're definitely going to throw the hammer here. Nick's hand must be pretty good. Oh, okay, sink below. I was like, he immediately passed. Yeah, growing up and watching the like Transformers movies, just in like that whole like all of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, like watching those when I was like, I mean, I say growing up, I was like, when did those come out? I can't remember when those come out. I think I was like in the like middle to high school range-ish, like based on like time and things like that. But
like 2009, 2010.
yeah, so I started high school in 2010. So like the 2009-ish area, like I was a big fan of those movies. I watched those movies a lot, and like honestly, like Shia LaBeouf was great in those movies. Like the way he like acted out like as a kid was just so impressive because he was really young. Well, I say really young. I mean, he was like in his 20s, but I would consider that really young, which is funny because I'm in my 20s. I'm still young and in my prime. It's the saddest thing I've ever said. Oh Lord, now I like want to watch this TikTok like midstream. No one can tell me Michael Bay wouldn't have killed this. Oh, now I have to. Now I have to pull this up and watch it.
Is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force.
Ben? You want to meet him?
We will each be challenged. Our trust, our faith, our friendships. But we must persevere. And in time, a new hope
Sorry, Nick, I'm
will
watching this
emerge.
Transformers thing.
Hello there.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude, that's dope. Dude, I don't know where you found that TikTok, but that's awesome. That is awesome. That is like all the proof that I ever need that Michael Bay would have actually just like crushed Star Wars. So insert Megan Fox hood scene somewhere in there as well. Oh. So we get to cover up the hammer here. Didn't really use my hand very effectively, but I don't want to throw Command and Conquer if Nick doesn't have an arsenal because then it's just 2 for 6 and that feels pretty undervalued. That's a really cool TikTok. I love when people like edit those TikToks like that when they have like when they like say like, oh, what Star Wars would have been like that. Now it's just really cool to me. I just really enjoy that kind of stuff. I think our Command and Conquer, if we swung it around here, is going to be 1 card away. Is it okay for me to take 2 here and throw Spinal? So we're definitely blocking like this. Now the question is, am I going to Earth React and throw Hammer, or am I just going to take 2 and throw Spinal? I think taking 2 and throwing Spinal is fine. Like, there's no threat of pummel here, so that's a little like underwhelming in my opinion. Spinal's not exactly backbreaking in the mirror like it is against like Lexi or Azalea or like any of the other like other heroes that like really struggle into it. So hashtag Michael Bay movies be like, is that a real hashtag? If you type that in on TikTok, there's thousands of movies dubbed like Michael Bay. Okay, I'm gonna have to write that down. I did not know that. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be something that I like have to like figure out, like, and write. Like, I'll have to like watch TikTok like that. That's fun. I think we'll go Autumn's Touch and Monto Grande. We're probably putting 2 Autumn's Touch in the same hand, but man, it is what it is. Showtime here. Well, that's how Zach will be spending his day tomorrow. Listen, Carly, you can't be telling everybody that I'm not working while I'm at work, okay? Although I guess if you really just pay enough attention to like while I'm talking and things, you already know that based off what how I talk about things. So Nick goes and gets a crippling crush. We don't really have a way to like do anything of value or like really like punish Nick letting us have a 4-card hand here. Wish we had like a Rouse or like a Zealous Belting so that we could have like a go again turn. We'll just come in with a Cranial Crush here. I was like, we do have 2 floating, so we are threatening pummel, which means if Nick needs all of his cards here, which Showtime kind of helps him not need all of his cards, but if he does want to keep most of his cards here, then like us threatening pummel does have to be in the back of his mind. Gotta skip work to go collect Lord of the Rings packs for the 1 of 1. Oh, dude, don't start on that, man. Don't start on that. That's a scary road to go down. So I saw that. I mean, having played Magic for so long, I still keep up with Magic very avidly, and I saw the ring and like all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's crazy to me. Like, to think about. Like, if somebody actually opens that, I mean, that'll be worth... I don't even know how much, like... The only, like, actual bounty I saw posted for it was for $100,000. I'm not sure if... anybody's, like, actually, like, posted for it or anything. Disable Mulch, then Heart. Drawing Heart in this matchup's not a huge concern of mine. Dan Bach offering 150K. One, that's an extremely absurd amount of money, but I don't know who that is. I don't know who Dan Bach is. So we can block 5 here pretty effectively, but if Nick has a pummel, I mean, he has 2 floating, so this kind of feels like telegraph pummel, which means we either have to decide that we're okay losing a card or we're going to have to overblock here, because Nick would have just used Bravo's ability. Nick's probably got a pummel here. We haven't seen one yet. I mean, I think I'm just going to have to be okay discarding a card. My hand's still not bad. He's a Magic Trader guy from Madison, Wisconsin, one of the biggest. Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. I mean, it completely makes sense that like somebody's offering like an absurd amount of money, like, because I mean, like, the card is worth an absurd amount of money. He owns Power 9 Gaming and they sponsor some PT players. Oh yeah, I know Power 9 Gaming. Okay. So I didn't realize that I know him, but it turns out I do know him. We'll pitch Glacial Footsteps. We'll come in for 5, go again. Nick has also closed the life total disparity that was going on. We're now only up 1 point. Now we do have more equipment block than Nick, so that is worth noting, but Bravo has a lot more power cards in this matchup than Oldhim does, in my opinion. So we also haven't seen a buckle yet, or a red buckling blow, which tells me that I don't think Nick is on the buckling blow list. Plus he's playing respites, and that doesn't seem like a very buckling blow thing to do. Yeah, he is known for tons of things, of Power 9, having a wife that's half his age, lol, and owns millions of cards. I mean, sounds like every, like, middle-aged or older dude, like, that has a lot of money. Except maybe not owning, you know, a bunch of cards. Prevent the next 6 damage that would be dealt to your hero this turn. Oh, wow. That's like a... Interesting. I've seen that card before, but I've never actually had somebody play it against me. Seems decent right there, actually. Steadfast. Is that a U special, or is this like a list you found somewhere, Nick?
That's a list I found somewhere.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I know that me, like, winning the 1K doesn't actually really do anything for me this weekend, but man, I would like to win the 1K this weekend.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'd like a chance to get to play at that 20K, that, like, Realms game tournament that they're having or whatever.
Is that the event for all their games too? I know they do video games and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know if the 20K is like a big event for like all of their games. I know that there's some kind of like convention this weekend for like it's at McCullen Castle or something like that. I don't know. I'd never heard of the venue, but Zach was telling me about it. And apparently they're having like Street Fighter, like all kinds of like fighting console games, and like they're having like Magic, and they're having like Pokemon and stuff like there this weekend. And Zach was asking everybody to come out because he wants there to be a big showing for Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we can get a little lucky here. Actually get a chance to throw our Pulverize. Well, also makes me think you have a Pummel. I mean, there's been no point in you activating Bravo, so because this already has Dominate, which means you should definitely just bluff it here. Yeah, I guess we'll just say this. You going for Flesh and Blood in August in Atlanta? So I'm actually not going to Atlanta. That's one of the only ones I'm not going to this year. It's a weekend that Carly and I already had plans. So I'm not going to Atlanta. I'm going to this 1K this weekend, which I wouldn't really call like a big tournament or anything. It's just something to like occupy my time with mostly. And potentially get to play at like this big like 20K they're having at the end of the year. But the next big thing I'll be going to is Nationals in Vegas at the end of August. Right? Last weekend in August, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it'll be at the end of August. So looking forward to playing at Nationals. Didn't do as well as I wanted to last year, so I'm kind of hoping I can redeem myself a little bit as far as Nationals is concerned this year. Getting to throw Pulverize here is really good. Pulverize is awesome. This hand is... What is this hand? This hand's terrible. Hey, what's going on, Dad? How are you, buddy? Not gonna lie, I hated that Atlanta venue for Magic was always a pain in the ass. I mean, the Atlanta Magic venue was not great. I definitely, like, I'm not gonna argue with you on that. it was less than optimal. So I think I'm just going to have to overpitch here, which is unfortunate. Because I got to have go again, so I got to pitch my Pulverize. Now the good news is I can pitch tag my Pulverize so that it plays out second cycle if the game goes that long. Yeah, the Atlanta venue was like, I don't know, like it wasn't great, but I believe Atlanta is the one you walk like 10 miles to get to. Yeah, you have to like once you're inside. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. I remember like, I mean, I played in a lot of Magic events in Atlanta, and you have to walk quite a ways once you're inside. You have to walk through like a lot of different like hoops, it feels like, to get to the actual convention hall. Playing cards in Atlanta has always been like a really cool place to play cards because there's just always been like, I mean, I'm like 4 hours from Atlanta, so it's just like such a it's just always been like so convenient to play there. I was about to say you're back around to pitch stack already, but I remembered that you shuffled off the Showtime earlier. Get a Crippling Crush. Let's go Buckling Blow. So we crowned away one of our pummels earlier, so this is our last one. I know I'm talking out loud and kind of telegraphing to Nick that I have a pummel here, but I think I want to play it here to try and get him off of Crippling Crush. I was like, because even if he has the unmovable here, he has to pitch a blue, which means he can't play his Crippling Crush. So Nick does cover up our turn, but we took him off of his power card, which is kind of convenient. Man, if I'd hung on to that. Oh. What? Oh. Showtime. Showtime.
Well, Showtime, and I pitched the what is it? The Fable.
Oh.
They created a surge for me.
Gotcha. Okay,
Showtime.
Yeah. So no, that worked out. Is this where I'm gonna do I give you 2 cards in Crater Fist here? I think that's the play. We take 3 this way. And then I can just throw Hammer back at you. That ended up being a pretty good turn cycle for you. I wasn't really playing around you actually being able to throw it back at me. Yeah, also night before Atlanta at F&M, I think Wasteland. Oh, what'd you say, Nick?
I didn't say nothing. I coughed. My bad.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just making sure I didn't cut you off or anything. Also, the night before in Atlanta, F&M, I think Wasteland. Yeah, like Wasteland Gaming or something like that. Yeah, that's where we used to, when I played Magic, that's where me and all my buddies used to stop and play. They used to do F&M and cool events like Play Pros. Yeah, they did. We went to a team event one year. It was like one of the first team events I ever went to. I played Legacy Burn and I scrubbed out bad. I was single-handedly the reason my team didn't day 2, and it was awful. I felt so bad. But we actually, they did the play against the pros thing that night. We played against like Tom Ross and I think Jody Keith was there. Todd Anderson maybe. I can't remember, but I remember doing that. I remember that was really fun. It's cool that you've like had like that same experience. Like playing at Wasteland Games is really fun. Legacy, yeah, dude, listen. Legacy Burn will always have a special place in my heart, but yes, it is definitely more a meme than most things. Okay, so here's my first pitch stacked hand. Poor teammates. Yeah, I felt bad for my teammates, honestly, because I mean, like, it wasn't their fault. Like, you know, they didn't do anything wrong. So you've played 3 Sync Belows. You've played 2 Unmovables. That Respite's got to be coming up the next couple of hands. I mean, they could have won more, right? I mean, sure, they could have won more, but like, hang on, let me think about this turn, and I'll explain to you what happened that weekend, because it was That was a tough. I remember feeling really bad about that weekend. So is this Command and Conquer Pummel? Like, you trying to push through damage here? I don't think so. So I think what we're gonna do. Yeah, here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna block here. We're just gonna block 4, and I mean, I guess if you have Pummel, I can Crown here. Like if it's pitch a 3-cost card and play Pummel, it pumps up to 10. I mean, I guess I could staunch this if I really wanted to. I mean, I guess I might as well just Crown here and like save the life. But yeah, Atlanta is cool. The whole SCG circuit back pre-COVID was awesome. Yeah, like I like the whole that was what I grinded in Magic for a long time, was the SCG circuit. Like I played at a lot of those. I mean, and so to answer your question, could my teammates have won more games? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But like it wasn't, you know, like I played a bad deck and I played poorly all weekend. I think I went like because you played 9 rounds at those early team tournaments. You played 9 rounds of team rounds early, and I remember I went like 3-6 playing Burn, and I played some good matchups. I just played poorly all day, and I remember one of the guys on the team was playing like the control deck and the standard. And I think he went like 7-1-1, and like his one draw like went to time. And he just like his name was Ian. He was a good buddy of ours, and he just played really slow, and he just kind of like fell behind on time. And then Travis, we used to call him Reese Cup because his last name was like Richie. And he was playing like Scape Shift, and I think he went like X-1. I think he went like 7-2 or 8-1 or something like that. And like their losses, all with my losses, just ended up to where we just missed out on day 2. It was a rough day, to say the least. Yeah, I can just use Staunch here pretty effectively, and then just throw 7 back at you, which is honestly not that great, admittedly, but I mean, that sucks, honestly. I mean, Burn, you can go like XO or OX, depends on which day, on the day, which sucks. Yeah, no, I mean, like don't get me wrong, like Burn's not like a terrible deck or anything. Like it has play in the metagames, so like I just didn't show up to play that well that day. I felt really bad for my teammates. I still do. Like, it was probably the worst event I've ever performed at, probably like in the history of Magic for me. Like a big event, it's probably the worst I ever performed. Team events also so much fun when you get 3 solid players. Dude, team events are a blast. I love team events. Like, I'd go play a team, like Team Magic or Team Flesh and Blood event tomorrow, like in a second, like not even think about it, because that's how much I enjoyed that form, like the team format. I don't like not having an arsenal here against you. I don't mind blocking like this because I know that I've kept all my endless winners in my deck. Tunic. Let's throw Endless Winter for 8. There's no fuse, just Endless Winter. I don't know how many you have played, but also seems very difficult to scrub totally out of team events if you choose 3 solid people. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's weird because it's like I've played in, I don't know, I've played in like 4 or 5 team events, honestly, over the years. And all the local ones, I've played at 3 local ones. I'm not counting those. I played at 3 local ones, and I've won 2 of them with the team and lost 1 of them. Or came in second at the 3rd one. So I mean, like, I agree with you on some level. It is hard to scrub out of like those like of team events, but man, at the same time, like if you play it like a GP or something like that, and you just play against like like if like one person's just having a bad day, like whether they're drawing poorly or because they're playing poorly, it's just hard for the rest of like the other two players to like cope and keep up. It's also tough to sit there and feel like you're disappointing your friends. I've told Carly multiple times over the course of us dating, because she's been to a couple team tournaments with us over the years, and every time I've done poorly at a team tournament, I tell her, I'm like, nothing feels worse than this. I hate doing poorly at a team tournament because I despise feeling like it's my fault we're losing. Like I can't stand that. I'd rather lose my own money at a bigger event or something like that. Yeah, it just sucks if you're 2 in that tourney, you go like X and 1 and you don't make day 2, which is a horrible feeling. Yeah, that was probably one of the worst like feelings I've ever had playing competitive cards. Like I've had a lot of bad beat stories over the years, but like that was the top of the list. Okay, so you are on Buckle. I don't know. I haven't seen any more Buckles, I don't think. Also haven't been paying super attention to your pitch, which is me playing like a schmo.
I only run one of them.
Oh, 1 Buckle?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm just going to take 4 here. Nick can't really like punish me here with anything, only having 1 card. And then I have a pretty decent throwback here, so it's a pretty decent turn here that I get to have. Hopefully Nick doesn't have like a defense reaction or something to cover it up with. Hopefully they are chill though. It is usually cool when you have legit team and legit MTG friends. Everyone usually has fun either way. Yeah, so I mean, I will say that like my team was like very supportive that weekend when I played poorly, and they were like super nice about the whole thing, and like they were just like, I mean, everybody was great. It was just one of those times when I felt really bad. I've never been to a team tournament where I performed poorly and like my team made me feel bad. Like my friends have never made me feel bad. It's always been like, they were like, yeah, like, you know, hey man, like it happens, like, but man, it sucks. Too steadfast. It's cool that card has value 3, like that it costs 3, so you can still pitch it to hammer.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just going to totally let you cover this up. And that's my last pummel. I ended up trying to put all 3 pummels into my deck. Obviously, like, as you've seen, I just felt like pummel was so good right now. It just seems like such a waste to not have it here. Are you usually in the legacy seat in teams? I played in the legacy seat in that tournament because we didn't really have anybody who had a legacy deck together at that time. Plus, I felt very comfortable with Burn. I'm normally the modern player, or nowadays I play a lot of Pioneer. So those are normally the 2 seats I sit in. But yeah, I can definitely play legacy. I played Grixis Delver in a legacy team tournament one time. So let's start with Crown. Let's pay 1 for the hammer, and then I definitely should have pitched that. That was just a bonehead play. I mean, I guess I'm not blocking with the Winter's Grasp either way, so it's not super relevant. I'm swinging for 8 here. The fact that it's 7-7, I'm going to go up to 36 cards and then down to 32, which means I'm up 8 cards on Nick right now in deck, and I have Ironhide Legs and 1 counter on Crater Fist I can use the rest of the game, which feels pretty nice. What era of Legacy was this? JW? We may have been at the same Atlanta team. Yeah, I think it was Tom Ross and Jody. I think their team ended up winning. Yeah, like I believe so. It was like the first team event they ever had. in Atlanta. Like it was like the first like big team event that like SCG really pushed a lot. Because I remember being like very avid to play about it. But yeah, I think Tom Ross and Jody Keith and whoever their third was, I think they won. Yeah. What is Stamp Authority? If you have 2 or more cards in the pitch zone, it costs 3 or greater, your hero gains an intellect. Attack action card effects do not trigger when they hit. Oh wow! All right, that's an interesting card. Never seen that card before. And maybe love is a reason why. Let's block with the Winter's Grasp here. Todd Stevens, yes. Todd Stevens. It wasn't Todd Anderson, it was Todd Stevens. That's the other person I'm thinking of. Yeah, Todd Stevens was like a big green-white mid-range player back then. He was playing like Night of the Reliquary and like Ghost Quarters and stuff like that back then. I remember when that was like the craze. Of course, he was like the only person that could win with that deck back then. But yeah, that deck was like very popular for a while because of Todd Stevens. And we played all 3 of our pummels, so we're not really threatening Nick with anything here. But getting 2 cards out of his hand this late in the game is very good. Activate Bravo is very frightening. Yeah, my team was there, and we also were at Wasteland, I think, prior. They had some event to play the pros for shirts or prizes. Yep, I remember they had that the night before. It was very exciting. I really enjoyed it. So let's start with Tunic Crown. It just feels like the best place to start here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or I could go 1, 2, 3, and then a card from hand. Pitch Heart. I mean, we're not getting any effect off Heart, but I don't think Heart's getting any better. Like, this feels like where we need to be pitching Heart to actually do things. So, dang, Legacy Burn during the Deathrite days. Yeah, dude, listen, it was by far not my best metagame choice of deck selection over the years. I remember feeling extremely confident that I could beat people with that deck too. Like, I just remember like feeling super confident about my matchup, about all my matchups, because so like you played 4 Searing Blaze and then Searing Bloods in the sideboard during that time, and the idea was that you just kind of beat up on Delver. And the crazy thing is, like, I played against like 3 Delvers during that tournament, which if you played a lot of competitive card games, you know that 3 of your 9 rounds as a deck you're looking for is a good turnout. And I remember I beat like 1 of them. And that was somebody I had absolutely no respect for. I want Deathrite back in Legacy. Dude, Deathrite was, I mean, like, the 1-mana Planeswalker. Deathrite's a great card. I was like, if you guys play a lot of like Legacy, like, you understand how broken that card actually was. Let's take 1 and go to 5 here, and then try to have a Terra Sunder turn. Maybe we get lucky and we can steal some cards here. Nothing worse than losing at SCG versus someone you dislike. I mean, that's the truth. That does feel bad. Too much Reanimate on Moto. Also, I'm sick of Merc. Is Murktide big in Legacy? Like, I haven't played a lot of Legacy over the last like couple years, just with Flesh and Blood. Like, but is Murktide a big deck in Legacy? Blue Red Delver plays Murktide? That makes sense. I remember seeing that Ragavan got banned in Legacy, which I always thought was interesting. Also, Uro. Uro's a thing in Legacy? Man, how is that card not banned yet? Oh, this hand's not good. I mean, rip the days of Zombie Fish? Dude, Gurmag Angler was a card. The old 1 for 5. That was... I remember when that card was like one of the most broken things you could be doing. Hey, Command and Conquer. Let me have DS back. DS. I feel like I'm having a stroke when I don't understand what DS is. If it was DRS, I know that's Deathrise Shaman. I don't know what DS is though. I feel like I'm having a stroke right now. You're gonna tell me what DS is and I'm gonna feel real stupid. The Modern Days of Death Shadow. Oh. Death Shadow. Yeah. See. Yeah, I am an idiot. The Modern Days of Death Shadow, Escape Shift, Eldrazi-tron. Dude, that was, I remember when that was the meta. Like, that was a time to be a Magic player. I enjoyed that format a lot. I want to play Death Shadow and not have to deal with all the easy removal spells Legacy has. I mean, sounds like you want to play Death Shadow in Modern, my man. Death Shadow is a cool deck. I always really like Death Shadow. Swords, the Evoke, outrageous matchup every single time. I know that like Swords is just like an auto like win against like Death Shadow and Legacy just because like they gain the life. And I mean the Evoke thing makes sense too. Like the Evoke cards are kind of dumb, honestly. Like those cards have like really made Magic take a turn for the worst. For the worse, in my opinion. Escape Shift versus Death Shadow was an outrageous matchup every single time. Yes, it was. Like, if you've played a lot of like Escape Shift and like Death Shadow, you understand the like amount of balancing that went into that. That was a balancing act if I've ever seen one. Like, just straight up, and it was cool. Like, it was a fun matchup. I hate current Modern. I know a lot of people that say that, brother. I know a lot of people that say that. Like, current Modern like is not super fun to me. Like, and not to like fall off on my tangent here, but like just Magic as a whole's kind of fallen off for me over the last couple of years, just with how much I've really enjoyed getting into Flesh and Blood. But I mean, current Modern is not fun. Okay, well, we can't just let this one pass us by. I was hoping that Nick would have like a turn that was like kind of weak so that we could like try to keep our Pulverize here. Chameleon Colossus was the answer to Death Shadow back then. That is true, isn't it? Chameleon Colossus was what we played to beat Death Shadow back then. That's hilarious. Oh man. Man, y'all are like really helping me reminisce right now and like what old school Magic was like. Man, like I have so many great memories and nostalgia from playing like Magic back during that time. Like there was just so much fun. I like old Jund, Death Shadow, and good old blue-white control. Old Magic was great. Well, the Escape Shift versus Shadow deck used to stare at each other for like endless turns back then. They did stare at each other a lot. I mean, I feel like that's a very accurate description of the matchup. I mean, because they had to stare at each other for a while, it feels like. Like, you had to make sure, like, if you were playing Escape Shift, you had to make sure that there was no Stubborn Denial or no, what's the 2 for 4? The two cost counter spell that counters something 4 or greater. I can't remember. Also, when I play Magic now, the spark is almost fully gone. See, I hate to hear people say that, but it's like, it's completely how I feel about it too. Like, that's completely how I feel about it too. I only have fun playing Commander and that joy is dying. See, dude, I hate to hear that. Like, I have so many wonderful memories from playing card games over the last, like, 8 years. I started playing Magic in 2015, and I've played card games ever since. And I have so many great memories. And, like, to hear somebody say that, like, their spark of, like, card games is, like, dying for them because of, like, I don't know, you just, like, you don't really enjoy the gameplay anymore. It makes me sad. Makes me hurt a little bit inside. D-Stroke. Yes, Disdainful Stroke. That's the card I'm searching for. Thank you. All right, so we pushed through 2 points here. I mean, depending on what Nick does, this hand could be sweet. This hand could be mediocre. So Nick's coming in for 6. which makes me feel like that my Command and Conquer is not going to be great. I mean, it's also just a 2-card 6. I can't really... I could go Macho Grande, Terra Sunder, pitch Autumn's Touch, a Command and Conquer. But Nick's... Well, he has to give me 2 cards, and it can't be a defense reaction here. But then I don't have an arsenal. Or I can go Command and Conquer, Autumn's Touch, block, and then pitch Terra Sunder to throw Titan's Fist, and then arsenal to Macho Grande. I think that's better. I want to keep my life lead here. I think that's definitely a better line of play for me. Keeping my life lead, like up a point against Bravo, is like a scary place to be at. Also, Shadow of Doubt. Oh, I forgot about Shadow of Doubt. That was like the split blue-black card. It was like blue or a black, split mana, and it was like players can't search and like draw a card, I think. Yeah, I missed the local tourneys of 30 to 50 people, especially when you got paired against someone you hated or watched those matchups. I mean, yeah, like, no, dude, like there was like the small like PPTQ events when there would be like 30 to 40 people show up. I mean, dude, like that was where it was at, because you knew everybody there, and you knew all the people were like actually like not bad players. Like there was a lot of competition in there was a lot of good competition where I play cards at when I played Magic for a long time. Like the PPTQ scene was tough. It took me a full year of grinding to qualify for the Pro Tour. Like we grinded every weekend, and it took me a year before I got there. So like that's a tough grind to get like sucked into. Death Shadow was great pre-Luris. Death Shadow was awesome pre-Luris, and Death Shadow was still very good when Luris was a thing, wasn't it? That's when Death Shadow died to me. Ooh, why did it die to you then? I think a lot of people picked up Death Shadow during that time, didn't they? I played in Knoxville at their big store once. Plenty of competition. Yeah, the Knoxville guys were always good. Like Wesley Reed. I'm having a stroke trying to remember the rest of their names right now. This is what happens when you don't talk to people anymore. You fall out of touch with who's where and what's going on. Let's pitch disable. 4, 5, 6. We'll take 1, go to 3. And then we can throw 6 and still arsenal a card. Actually, am I being a complete boob? I think I am. I think we can just throw 8 dominate here and just kind of force Nick to stop it. Yeah, because of our tunic counter. Man, I'm glad I didn't look that over. That would have been like one of those like glaring mistakes that I would have like looked back on and been like, well played, dummy. Throw the Macho Grande again. It was the best deck during that time. I legit hated it once Luris was a thing. The deck fully changed. I mean, everything changed to accommodate Luris during that time. Like, Luris was like the thing to be doing. It was like everything had to fit in Luris right there. That was a good game, Nick. You want to run it back, brother?
Yeah, let's run it back.
Okay.
I'm down.
Well, let's see here. Let me... quick rematch, no sideboarding. Let's see if that works. Like, it should give you the option there. This Shadow used to be an incredibly hard deck to navigate pre-Luris. I mean, you played Serum Visions. I mean, playing Serum Visions is all you need to know about a deck. I will say that. Hey, Just, what's going on, brother? How are you, man? I want to play tasting and Deadfish with Thought Scour and Snappies and Battle Rage. I mean, to be fair, that was the Death Shadow that I learned to love and played a lot of. Tassiger, there it is. Death Shadow players lost or won the game usually. They really rarely got beat. I mean, that's fair. Like, a good Death Shadow player was honestly extremely frightening to play against. Like, good Death Shadow players were scary. So I played a lot of Burn, and like good Death Shadow players were like one of the scariest things in the world you could play against. Like, they were truly terrifying to play against. You had a good day, Just? Man, I'm glad to hear it, brother. I am glad to hear it. We're almost at the end of the week. I mean, unless you work on the weekend, and then like And then I like maybe your week just started, but either way, man, I'm happy tomorrow's Friday. I won't lie to you guys. No, I sound super old when I say stuff like that, but this gets so much truer the older I get. So if we haven't put anything on the bottom of our deck yet, so we're still setting up our first pitch stacked hand. So a Nothos for 6 here. I think we're gonna go Ram's Head, pitching Brothers in Arms, and then play Fate Foreseen, and then have our natural go again turn. There's a better option here. I'm not really finding it like very quickly off the top of my head, which I feel like I feel like there's something better I could be doing here. Probably involves me crowning, and I think I just want to play my Zealous Belting here. Let's put that on the bottom. Let's start stacking some good defensive hands for second cycle. If we can't stack good go again hand, we want good go again hands for second cycle. We want good we definitely want good defensive hands. So, and right now we have 2 4 blocks in our first hand and a choke slam, and it's getting ready to be able to debilitate, so it's a pretty good first hand. I loved playing versus Burn. You did my job for me, dude. So like that was the whole thing. Like it was like if you were a good Death Shadow player, I had to like walk this tight wire of death as a Burn player, and it was super scary. It was like an extremely scary thing to like be a part of and like witness, honestly. But when you were a bad Death Shadow player, I could almost close my eyes and beat you. Remember when Brad Nelson just won for like a straight month with Death Shadow? Yes, he's the person that like made the Death Shadow deck popular. I remember like, because the first version of Death Shadow was like playing like Wild Nicottle and Swiss Spear and like Mutagenic Growth and like all these like other weird things. But then when it turned to Grixis Death Shadow, that's when it like really took like a solid shell, in my opinion. I will say, as a Scape Shift player, once upon a time, Death Shadow was frustrating. You had to think about everything. They could have plenty of local events, playing long matches of Stare Down. I mean, yeah, like that's like you were forced to play the Stare Down game where it was like, hope you don't have it here. Like, and that's just, it's a scary world to be in and live in. I was like saying, well, hope my opponent doesn't have it is a scary thing. Choke Slam for 8. So we block 6, take 2, swing Hammer, and then Arsenal a card. I mean, seems like a fine play. Nick gets to have a pretty solid hand here. Pitching a blue to just come in for 8 is pretty solid play. So the first card of our 5th hand is going to be Autumn's Touch. Or the first card of our 2nd hand. It's our 5th card. So it's our first card of our 2nd hand. Is going to be good here. Also the 5th card we put back into our deck. I miss those days watching those super tight matches of local players you knew. One mistake, someone was going to get to talk shit for 6 months. Yeah, there was a lot of that. And like honestly, it created a lot of like fun grudge matches locally, which I always thought was like fun to witness and just kind of see. Honestly, like was really cool. This hand does not play well with my Zealous Belting here. I want Chain. I did not start Fab until a little pre-Outsiders. I legit got into the game for him in Shadow Runeblade. Dude, so considering that you just said you never got to play Chain, Chain was one of the most broken things I've ever done in my life. Like, years of playing card games. Chain was absolutely stupid. Like, so I played Chain when I first got into Flesh and Blood, and I just remember, like it was like, I remember thinking, man, this deck's not that good. Like, Chain doesn't feel that broken. Chain was that broken. I was a Bagnun. Like, Chain is absurdly stupid. So, man, I hate that you never got to experience how broken Chain was. Like, Chain won the Pro Tour in a world of Starvo. And if, like, you're big into Flesh and Blood, like, dude, you understand how stupid that statement is. Pablo Pintor made Chain look easy, and it was not. used to see players quit the game after some local losses. Hey, I've seen some people walk out of an event rage quitting. I have seen some people rage quit at a local tournament because they lost to somebody they felt like they shouldn't have. I also feel like there's a lot of entitlement with Magic players. Like they think like, oh man, I should have won that game. Like, and like that's one thing that's really hard for me about Magic is like you can play perfectly and still lose, and I hate that. That doesn't happen a lot in Flesh and Blood. It does happen, but it doesn't happen as often, and I do like that. I know of Starvo. Yeah, dude, Starvo was like, I think everybody hated Starvo and understood how overpowered he was, but the fact that they made a new Prism and not a chain, I feel cheated. So, oh, do you want to do that?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good, man. I was just making sure I wasn't like having a stroke or something. Yeah, dude. I was, when they announced Prism, everybody was expecting there to be a, oh my gosh. I've never seen 2 showtimes on the board. I'm going to snipping tool this just before we pass the turn here because I want to be able to. That's absolutely crazy to me. So now that I know you don't have an action point, I don't have to worry about anything. I can do this. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not great or anything, but it's fine. There were a lot of people that felt cheated that they didn't get a chain in this set. I will probably play the new bald chick, but she is not what I wanted. Are you talking about Vincent? Yeah, I think Vincent looks kind of cool. And for them to say they would make a replacement and then not really do so felt like a slap in the face. Yeah, there were a lot of people who were really looking forward to playing Chain. So I think there are a lot of people who feel like kind of slighted in the same way that you do. This is not really a great line of play for me this turn. This hand just did not line up for cycle. I guess one of the downfalls of playing like 67 cards or however many cards I'm playing into you. Yeah, you're right. Some MTG players would enter a local, and if they played a certain player, thought they should win, and then should be handed the win. Yeah, so I know a lot of people who play Magic that act that way, and I think that's like one of like the problematic attitudes of Magic. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think that most of the community is not that way. I just think that there's like some people who like give Magic players a bad name as a whole, and I think that's tough. So you're probably going to dominate this. So I think I'm going to arsenal my sink here to set myself up for a better line of play, because I can use my equipment plus Rampart. Like, so I can cover up 4, 7, 9, 10 pretty effectively without having to use Ironhide legs, which is kind of nice. So at the moment I enjoy Fab, but I can't find a deck to stick to. I have Viserai, Icelander, Azalea, and Azuri. I mean, dude, like those are a lot of good decks right now. I like, honestly, I'm kind of curious to see if Icelander makes like a big resurgence back into the metagame, based off like just how the metagame is shifting right now. Does this have Go again? This does not have Go again.
Oh, does not have Go again?
No, this does not have Go again.
All right, my bad.
No, you're good, man. You're good. That'd be broken if it had Go again. She dies to Lexi too hard. Yeah, I mean, she does kind of buckle to Lexi, which is like the real problem for her. I mean, honestly, anything that buckles to Lexi is just like not going to be in a good place. Both the current metagame and post Oldhim metagame after they've actually hit the ban. Are you going to be okay when Oldhim leaves? Taylor with the jokes. Yes, I will learn to survive after Oldhim leaves. I'm currently trying to turn Briar into Oldhim. See if I can make that a thing. So if this is a pummel, the pummel is kind of backbreaking here. So we get to go 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. And if you have the pummel, I end up taking... So I have to over... Man, do I have to give equipment here? I have to give both pieces of my equipment here? Is that really where I'm at right now? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. So I take 3 and I discard a card. I mean, that's like worst case scenario for me, but I also don't think I have another play. I think getting hit with the... getting hit with a pummel and a blowout play is just too much here. So I mean, based off Nick not playing the pummel, I think he would play it if he has it. Part of me wants to crown here and see if I can find something to do, but I kind of feel like that's a trap. Maybe Nick's like just trying to get me here. I'm honestly not sure. Maybe I'm just overthinking this whole line of play here too much. I was like, maybe I'm getting in my own head and just thinking too much. It's also very possible. All right, let's see. But when they lose, we all cheer. Dude, the super salty people like make me it always made me a little happy when they lost when I was playing Magic, which I know is like not very sportsmanlike of me, but it's exactly how it made me feel. And at the moment, it's just Dragons and Lexi. I mean, like Dromai is like almost impossible to beat if you're playing Icelander. I mean, it can be done, but it's not a good matchup. I was gonna build Oldhim, but he LL'd, so I was assuming I would lose Rosetta, so I built Azuri to replace my Viz. I mean, that's completely fair. Like I don't dislike your like logic at all there. I'm completely on board with that. Azuri's in a really good place going into the new metagame, in my opinion. We can hold a little funeral for Oldhim next time you are down. Well, I'm coming down tomorrow. So are you playing tomorrow, Taylor? I meant to ask you that. Are you playing in the 1K tomorrow? How often do you stream Fab? So I stream probably... Oh, is this only for 5? Because that's a pummel? I would call that a win. I'd call that a big win. So Nick did have the pummel, it appears. I mean, if it was a blue pummel, then I guess that there is no reason to play it if you thought I had the sink below there. And then I don't think I'm going to sink. I like my hand quite a bit here. Like, we have a pretty solid hand. We can use Tunic to throw Endless Winter and then Arsenal our last card, which is pretty sweet. What'd you say, Nick?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, your mic picks you up sometimes, and I'm just making sure that I'm not, like, blowing you off or anything, like, if you say something. So I stream Fab 2 or 3 times a week. Like, I try to get 3 to 4 streams in a week. Most of the time, with the way my schedule lines up, it just doesn't pan out for me. Tuesday and Thursdays are my most consistent days for me to stream. This week I streamed on Wednesday, and normally I get at least one day during the weekend in, but I won't be getting one this weekend because there's a 1K on Saturday and then Father's Day's on Sunday, and we're going to hang out with my dad on Sunday. I think we're going to play a little golf. I'm hoping I can get my golf swing to be under 100 this time around. Yo, thanks for the follow, Dad. I appreciate it, brother. Saturday in the 1K? Of course I am. I'm bringing the big guns. Levia. You're bringing the big guns and you're bringing Levia, which means when you beat me, I can go back to immediately feeling bad for myself. Hey. Yeah. I mean, this be one of those hands, Captain. Think we're just taking 4 here, which does not feel great, but I mean, it is what it is. Do you play Paper Magic in Tennessee anymore? So I try to play Paper Magic. I try to get out and like local shop is called Blue Post here nowadays. A lot of the local shops have closed. So I try to get out and play Paper Magic. You know, I try to go to like an event when they have one. But I mean, unfortunately, it just doesn't. I just don't get to play a lot. So I play some, but not a ton. Most of the time when I do, I have to borrow decks. I sold a lot of my collection to get into Flesh and Blood when I really started to love the game. So Steadfast is pretty good in a spot like that. Please don't have another one. I'd like for my pummel to be relevant here. Need some free lessons in golf. I used to be a pro on the E Tour. What is the E Tour? Did you really used to be a pro golfer? Are you like living rent free in my head right now, Taylor? Or are you being for realsies right now? Because let me tell you, I'm terrible at golf, but I love golf. Like, I mean, I'm horrible at golf. Like, I shoot about 100 to 105 most times when I go play, but I love to play. I hope Levia stops being a joke soon. I mean, I think honestly, whenever Levia wins a tournament, we all feel good. Like, whenever Levia wins anything, it feels good. That's just a great feeling for all of us. So Nick pitched an unmovable to make a surge, which means he either had 2 defense reactions in his hand or he had 2 reds and he's setting up to play a crippling crush here. So let's throw our Spinal Crush here and see if we can get any value out of like just 9 attack. The whole go again thing's not super relevant here, but yeah, I swear to God, dude, that's awesome. I had no idea. Like, that's cool that you're really good at golf. Being good at golf is like extremely tough. So I'm not gonna lie. Out of all the times you've beat me at Flesh and Blood, I have respect for you for being a great Flesh and Blood player, Taylor. But like, my respect for you just went way through the roof for being good at golf. Golf is the hardest thing I've ever tried to be good at ever in my life. And I've tried to grind Rocket League, and Rocket League's a tough thing to be good at too. No, I'm not kidding. Rocket League is hard to be good at. If you've never played Rocket League, don't laugh at me. I think the best meta call for Azuri is Fatigue, but I don't want to do that, so I'm going with a mixed build. Levia only wins when she is not playing her shadow cards. Like, at that point, just play the better Brute. I mean, like, I hear you. Like Dad, I completely hear you. Like, you're definitely better off just playing like Rhinar in some fashion than I think you are playing Levia, because she never wins with all of her shadow cards. Like, I 100% agree with you there. But Levy is fun, though. I'm down to help you out some, seriously. I mean, dude, if you want to do that, I will never argue with you about that. I started playing golf. Well, hang on just a second. Okay, yeah, so we started playing golf 2 years ago, and since then, I've been trying to get under 100. Now, don't get me wrong, I play golf like once a month, maybe. Probably not even that regularly. So, me getting better at golf is just not going to happen because I don't go to the driving range. I don't push myself. Like, I just don't push myself at golf. So, but if there's any like quick tips or something, I would absolutely love to try and get better at golf in any way that I can. It's so wild sometimes to think that people are good at who play things like Flesh and Blood and MTG. Like, you can sit across from a dude getting a PhD or someone really good at golf. That is honestly like an extremely accurate statement. And I don't think that's really talked about enough. Part of me wants to just ship this pummel to the bottom in our arsenal because we have to take 6 here to throw a pretty mediocre turn. That's the kind of turn we're looking for. This is much better. I can just take 4 here, and we can throw an 11-point turn back at Nick here, which feels pretty good. Now, Levy and Blitz is a monster, but I would rather not play at all than play Blitz. I'm not a big fan of Blitz. Like, Blitz is like one of those like very high-rolly formats, and I think that's kind of what you meant by your comment. So I'm not a big fan of Blitz. But I mean, if it's during a season that matters, like ProQuest or Road to Nationals or something like that, I would play it. I would spend the time to get into it. 100% like to play Blitz. I've always just played Dash and Blitz because it's what I have together. I played Bravo in Blitz at the in Baltimore. I played in the Battle Hardened in Baltimore, and I ended up playing Bravo Blitz, which actually was kind of fun. I didn't do that well, but it was fun. We had a medical student on our MTG team for years. Was wild, dude. People who can like go to medical school and still play Magic competitively, like you're no longer like a kid playing cards. You are like, that's like grown man status right there. Going to medical school is hard enough as it is, but playing a competitive card game while going to medical school, I don't have enough hats in the world to tip to that person. Blitz is too variance heavy. CC is like perfect in variance and fun interaction. I'm 100% inclined to agree with you. That's why you guys never see me stream Blitz. It's why I like barely ever post Blitz content. Like, I'm not a big Blitz player, and I don't really enjoy it that much. So like, I'd prefer to play CC where I'm having fun and I enjoy what I'm doing. Looking at the top of the screen, like right now, like where I'm looking at, and seeing that Nick has 5 cards in his hand and I know he has a Crippling Crush in his arsenal, makes me want to cry a little bit on the inside. Oh. So Nick took 9, or let's see, I attacked for 11. Nick took 9 of it, so it gives me a 12-point lead here. Nick did not have a Seismic Surge, so he can't pummel this and play his Crippling Crush. Because if he could, I would have to cry myself to sleep. But he can dominate a Crippling Crush here. Which means I honestly think we're just taking 5 here. Like, I straight up think we're just taking 5 here, and we're just going to try and salvage our turn with Tunic Crown and the Fate Foreseen in our hand. Like, because we have Crown, Rampart, Crater Fist is 3, and then Fate Foreseen is 7. Well, that's not enough to stop what we're trying to accomplish here. Nick got our equipment very early on a good turn, so he's definitely allowed himself to be in the driver's seat. If he has to, well, I guess he can't dominate his Crippling Crush here, which is kind of nice for me. I won't complain about that. I want 3 of a Kind to get banned till Lexi LLs. I mean, 3 of a Kind is an extremely powerful card. Like that's a very broken card. As someone who's played a lot of Oldhim, but like I don't really care what Lexi's doing most of the time, just because of how I feel about playing Oldhim. But so we're definitely going to start with Tunic Crown. Good news is that we can just give multiple cards here. So am I just going block? We block Mulch. We block Thunderquake. We block with Fate Foreseen. We cover all 11. We get to throw Hammer and Arsenal a card. I think that's our best line of play. Nick being a resource short of being able to actually activate Bravo, I think is like a big win for us. I think we'll bottom that. I don't really see a reason to keep that on top. We're up 7 points, so we're just trying to play the defensive game and trying to like grind Nick out here. We're up 4 cards. Well, we're not really up 4 cards because I'm getting ready to... I'm going to go to 51 and then 47, so I'm up 1 card actually, so I'm not up 5 cards, or I'm not up 4 cards. It's just wrong. I'm up 1 card. We're up 1 card and 7 life, and 7 life in the Guardian Mirror is quite a bit, so... Lexi is perfect, no bans needed. That's a bold statement, but you are the Lexi player of like a lot of the people that I know. There's a couple people on the team that play Lexi quite regularly, but I mean, you are a very good Lexi player, so I'll take your word for it. If you answer this question honestly, Taylor, are you saying that with bias, or are you saying that because you feel Lexi is healthy for the meta game? Dad immediately said lies. It might be due to the decks I play, but Lexi is so annoying. I mean, so honestly, most of the time, if you have a hero that you hate playing against, it's more than likely because of the decks that you're playing. Like, honestly, and that's not a shot at you or anybody else. It's a very accurate statement in my opinion. If there's a deck you don't like playing against, it's because of a certain deck you play more often than not. Like, I know a lot of people who hate Oldhim. They hate Oldhim with every fiber of their body. And it's because they play Lexi and because they've been fatigued by me so many times. Like I've beaten some really good Lexi players playing this Oldhim deck. But dude, I've also gotten trounced by some really good Lexi players. There are some really good Lexi players out there, in my opinion. Like, it would not feel that bad if she could not high roll so hard due to 3 of a kind. I mean, 3 of a kind does give her some broken capability. How many pummels have we seen? We've seen one. I think I've put one more on the bottom, so there's one more somewhere left in our deck. And we probably have about 10 cards before we get to pitch stack here, if I had to guess. I'm just guessing. I haven't really kept up with it. I know that our first hand's extremely defensive, and I know that our second hand has a little bit of gas in it with a Terra Sunder, and Nick's almost out of equipment. Well, no, he's not. He still has Tectonic Plating. So let's play the blocking game here. See what we draw. Nothing that looks appealing to me. That is an extremely unfortunate draw here. So we take 1, which I'm not a fan of. I mean, taking 1's fine. It's more about what we serve back. So I'm going to pitch Zealous Belting because that'll give us a good second cycle go again hand. And then I'm going to Arsenal this, and with Tunic coming up, if we draw a certain, if we draw a good hand here, we can actually play the card we're getting ready to Arsenal, and that'll put us in a pretty good spot. I hate Dragon Chick too, but I played Viz first, and that matchup is not supposed to be bad for Viz due to Rose. Yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of there are a lot of heroes that have close Dromai matchups, but I mean, I like Dromai. I think she's a fair prism, if you want my honest opinion. She has some broken interactions and some dumb things that she does, but Dromai is a pretty fair deck. I'm not really one to complain about Dromai as a whole. Okay, so Nick's got a good turn coming just because of that, which means we're probably not going to be able to play the card that we arsenaled here. Okay, he's activating Crater Fist. That is not good for us. When somebody activates Crater Fist, you should be very afraid. Crater Fist and Bravo. So this is 11 Dominate. Sheesh. Let's pitch Rouse. So 7 would be 8, which means we're taking 3, and then we can throw 8 back. I think I'm going to save my... Yeah, 1 and 7 is 8, which means we go to 17, and then we get to throw a Cranial Crush back at him. I think that's a very fair turn. We're still up 7 points, and we're getting to throw cards that strip life total or strip cards. Hopefully, in some case, both. Although, technically, if Nick has 2 3 blocks in his hand, this is a losing turn cycle for us because Nick takes 2 and we take 3, and enough turn cycles like that, and Nick will get back into the game. So something to think about there. From playing against Azel, I assume it's Azalea, the matchup versus Lexi does not even feel bad till she plays 3 and just pulls so far ahead. Yeah, so Michael Fang, and I'm sure everybody's heard this, once described... oh wow. Yeah. You having all 2 blocks like that is really unfortunate, dude. Sorry about that, brother. That's tough. Michael Fang once described three of a kind as what's the equipment called? The chess piece for chain. Carrion Husk. He once called it Carrion Husk, which I thought one was pretty accurate, but also it's a really good way to look at 3 of a kind. It allows you to block 6 and still have a very functional hand. You're basically getting to play with 4 cards off of a 2-card hand, which is really stupid. Yeah. Then we'll go Cranial Crush, Chokeslam, Arsenal this. Was hoping maybe I get lucky there. I think that's just me trying to have my cake and eat it too. I mean, I think we're fine to just play our Sink Below here. Like, I don't see a reason to do anything else. I guess I'm gonna sink this. It's like we'll put that on the bottom of our deck, and then we have the capability to throw what's in our hand. And we still get to threaten Pummel here because Tunic is up, which is a very good play. Husk the Blood Debt. I mean, sure, if 3 of a Kind had Blood Debt on it, it'd be a lot worse than it is. So, I mean, there's that, I guess. That is one advantage that 3 of a Kind has over Carrion Husk. Carrion Husk was a broken piece of equipment. If you guys ever played during that time, it's like an insanely good card. I love Husk. I mean, dude, Husk is awesome. Like, Husk is great. Husk is, again, one of those cards that I feel like as a new player, you can't really understand. If that makes any sense. I just feel like you get so much, like, value off of Husk that you can't understand as a new player. Personally. That's just personally how I feel about it. I love Blood Debt. Ooh, interesting. I'm curious to hear why you love Blood Debt. Do you love Blood Debt because of Chain, or do you like Blood Debt because, like, Blood Debt's cool? Like, and it's just, like, a cool mechanic. Let's bottom that. I think we're just churning through the bottom. Like, we're just churning through cards, looking for power cards here. I mean, we're taking cards out of Nick's hand every turn, which has a lot of value. He's been sitting on his arsenal for like 2 or 3 turns now, so the more pressure we can put on, the better for us. Like, give me OP cards and make them risky. I like the idea. Power at a price. I mean, I think that's a completely fair way to look at that. That's terrifying that Nick just took 8. I mean, like that was a great description of Chain. Power at a price. I'm gonna like make that that's gonna be like a quote. Power at a price. I like that, honestly. Chain and Levy is what brought me to this game. I started playing due to it being good. Yeah, I mean, Chain was broken. Okay, so this is Crippling Crush Pommel. That, or this is the best bluff in the history of the world by Nick, because he's got me hook, line, and sinker playing around it. So 1, 2, 6, 9, 13. Discard this, arsenal this. Actually, we're going to pitch this, and then I'm going to discard this and arsenal the Chokeslam. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 9, 13. Okay, yeah, and we'll pitch the disable to pay for the Brothers in Arms and for the Rampart here. And so if Nick doesn't have the Pummel, which he does, we're just gonna... I mean, I guess I have to discard a card, so I probably should have just thrown the Chokeslam up there. Yeah, I don't care to discard this blue Chokeslam. Feels pretty mid, so... Ramhead and Crown make me want to play Oldhim so bad. I mean, dude, like, Crown of Seeds and Rampart of the Ram's Head is, like, some of the dumbest things you can do in the game, in my opinion. Like, it's extremely broken. Like, it is the most like, Oldhim is the most efficient blocking deck in the game. In like, I would say, period. I don't really think there's many things you could argue that with. Okay, so... we block Debilitate. We Earth React, take 4. The Go Again effect isn't like super backbreaking or anything, so... and then We're gonna throw this for 4 here because Nick gives us, like, I guess Nick could have like a sink below or a respite here. We haven't seen a respite all game. So I mean, I'm never playing around respite if I'm playing again to Bravo, but it could be something that like Nick has, and I only say that because he showed it to us last game, so we're aware of it. I hope they make more heroes that can use Crown. The ones that can use it will be gone soon, and I will miss the item. Yeah, so I mean, I completely get that. I really like Crown of Seeds. I bought my Crown of Seeds at a very discounted price because I bought it after people had like really stopped playing Crown of Seeds, because Crown of Seeds was like $200 for a while, and I just like I think I bought my Crown of Seeds for like, it was like $75 when I bought it, and I have a cold foil one. Now the cool thing that I don't tell anybody, like, well, I mean, I guess it's not that I don't tell anybody, but the cool thing that I don't really talk about is the fact that I actually got my Crown of Seeds for $25 because I had $50 in store credit from an event. I'm trying. I wasn't joking when I told Taylor earlier that I'm trying to make Briar a Oldhim deck. I am doing my absolute best to turn Briar into like Fatigue Oldhim, which is probably not that good, but it's something that I think I can make happen, honestly, with enough practice. She can do it. I mean, it would be fun. Oh, you had the unmovable too. Man, if I had like been in Arsenal, that would have been a blowout. Because I took a lot of damage right there, Nick, to be able to like play my turn. Because I thought the Macho Grande was going to end the game. Man, if I had been from Arsenal, that'd have been good.
Let me get a Rhinar deck. Let me play a couple games with a Rhinar.
Yeah, sounds good, man. It's not a great matchup for Oldhim, so I need to practice. You get the earth buff thing. You can use Crown. I just don't think she can do it well enough. So like, I don't think she can do it well enough either. And the problem is that like, to really like try and fatigue decks with Briar, you need to be on all the 0 for 4s. Like, you need to be on Snatch. You need to be on Infectious Host. I think that's a really good card right now. Arcanic Crackle's a really good one. Scar for Scar because it has Go Again. Like, you get to play all these really good cards, but you have to play all these 0 for 4s that don't really block 3 because of Embodiment of Earth. You need to be able to turn your Embodiment of Earth on. And so when you do that, like your cards like Sift, Force of Nature, just all those cards block for 4. So you turn like most of your deck into Sink Below, which is really nice. And then you also get to play Fates, Sinks, Respites, things like that. So I've been testing with a variant of that deck. I don't know how good it's actually going to be, but I am trying to make that deck a real thing. I would love to have that. Nick, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
You're good.
Before we play the next one. Yeah, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, guys. If you guys are hanging out, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Facebook, wherever, I appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm gonna use the bathroom. We'll be playing some more games in a minute. All right, short bathroom break here. Let's get back at it. Oh man, those games took a while, so I gotta go find my Oldhim deck link again. Copy deck link to clipboard. Private game. Copy link invite. Discord. All right, I just sent it to you. All right. Oh, there we go. Nick's going first. Host is super great, and I don't think enough people are using it. I am 100% inclined to agree with you. I think it's probably the best 0 for 4 that like Briar could probably be playing right now with Lexi running rampant. Against Rhinar, I think I want Titan's Fist also. We cut Remembrance. I think we're cutting Sigils. Am I trying to fatigue you if you're playing Rhinar? Like, am I cutting Zealous Beltings and leaving in Sigils? That doesn't feel right to me, but let's try it with Zealous Beltings in and see what happens. I know I don't want their Remembrance. We'll just play 67 cards and see what happens. I'm not really sure what the correct play is here. 0 for 4 here. You can have Blood Rot too. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like it's such a good card. It's also a sweet card to get back off of like Codex of Frailty. For the first time. I mean, I guess let's just block this out. Well, you're already ahead on life, so we just got to stay where we can. We'll bottom that. All right, we get our blue Chokeslam back. This hand sucks. So we put a blue Mulch on the bottom. So our first pitch stacked hand is going to be Mulch, Chokeslam, Winter's Grasp, Chokeslam, because we're going to Arsenal the Chokeslam here. Piercing Shadow Vise should be good with the new Shower rune. What is Piercing Shadow Vise? Sorry, I have to look this card up. It's from Monarch, apparently. The 2 cost, 3 block, 4 attack. You may play this card from your Banish Zone if you have dealt arcane damage to an opposing hero. This gets +2. Oh, so it's a Blood Debt 2 for 6 if you've dealt arcane, and with Vincett's ability, you can pretty much just guaranteed to push it through. Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool card. That's one thing that I'll tell everybody I'm really bad at is like predicting what cards are going to be good in what format. That's not something I'm good at all. I never have been. I wasn't with Magic. I'm not with Flesh and Blood. Like, so like if you say you think this card's going to be good, unless like it's just like glaringly awful, I'm pretty much always going to agree with you. Man, this is one of those hands, huh? I mean, I think we need to try and throw... Yeah, that's just awkward. It just does not line up at all for me, does it? I mean, I guess we can do this on our turn. So, no, I think because we could heave this and make our lives easier. Let's go for the heave play. I don't know if it's correct or not, but we're gonna see what we can make happen here. So we get to attack for 2 points less, but we do get to heave our card here. Oh, you played Sigil. I was like, how did you go to 44? So we'll go Cranial Chokeslam here. and then we have a pretty good hand. We could block with 2 cards if we need to. Hopefully Nick doesn't have like the Command and Conquer Pummel rolled up here, so I can't even start to tell you how bad I want Shadow Rune to be back. So if she is bad, I might just have to take a break from Fab. Well, man, if you want the truth, I honestly think we're all kind of hoping that she's going to be really good. Is Vincent a she? I didn't catch that if she is, but I think we're all kind of like hoping that Vincent's going to be pretty good. If you want the truth, I think we've just like, I think most of the community has missed the days where Chain was good and that people were like, you know, playing Shadow Runeblade. So I think a lot of people are hoping that Vincent's going to be good. That, or I think we're all hoping that Prism's going to be absolute dog water. Which, and I say that as someone who played Prism. Like, I played Prism when it was in CC the first time around because the deck was just so good. Like, Prism was just, like, so incredibly strong. For the first time. Block 11, take 3. So the effect's active. Ish. Ugh. So Scabs for 2 rolls, which means you pitch a blue, use Tunic, Claw for 0, and then Claw for 3, I think. Oh. Interesting. Tom is such a good card.
Yeah.
Part of me kind of wants to go back to playing Dash in the new metagame, just so that I can play just so that I can actually play Tome, because I play a 1 of Tome in my list. Yeah, I mean, I'll just take 2 here. That's fine. There's no threat of like really anything bad happening, so no pummels or anything. I just started this game too late and missed the main things I would have enjoyed. Yeah, see, dude, I hate that. Like, I hate to hear that, like, that's the case for you. I was like, but I do get that. Like, the game, there was a lot of fun things about the game when in the last few years, and like, I feel like the game's changed a lot over the last couple years. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think the game has changed in a very good way also. Like, I've really enjoyed seeing Flesh and Blood's changes over the last, like year of me playing, because I started playing last February and I've been playing ever since. A 3, just good enough for me to not have to really sweat. But at the same time, it might be good. I miss Chain. If I got to play him, I would probably not be playing anything else. Chain is really healthy, but I am not a fan of the LL system. I mean, so that like, so like part of me hears you, because like the LL system is like not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, like in a non-rotating game, you have to have some kind of system, I feel like, where heroes aren't just constantly being played all the time. But I'm not really sure how they're supposed to change that. For 7. Oh, beatdown. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to block like this. I'll have to take 2 here. I have to refresh because Talashar's still glitching like that. How it keeps cards up like that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that a Not that a quicken token would really do me any good, but I have nothing to sink, so I'll take 4 here and go to 29. So this is one of those matchups that I'm honestly not a huge fan of. Like, this matchup is not great in my opinion. For me, anyway. Like, I think I'm 3-1 against Rhinar in the games I've played, like in a tournament setting, but it just always feels not good for me. Like, oh my gosh, like that's so broken. Take a card. Shoo. Like, why play Levia when you could play this? He is just so much better. I mean, I'm 100% inclined to agree with you. Like, Rhinar is definitely a better brute than Levia. I think people play Levia because they love Levia, if you want the truth. Like, that's 100% what I see when I think about why people are actually playing this. Like, people are actually playing Levia. They just really like Levia. Oh, no. Took the card I didn't want you to take, Nick. That wasn't cool. Wait. Why didn't I draw a card? Did you play something that says I can't draw cards?
No, we can go back.
Well, did you see that? I crowned and pitched Winter's Crest. It's not giving me a card. Am I going crazy? When this hits a hero, they lose all abilities. I mean, so
That was my discard, though. That was my 6. This started all over.
no, I see what's happening. You still had a Rhinar activation on the stack that I hadn't noticed yet. That's what I'm missing.
You want to play it back where you can crown?
No, it's fine. It's letting me crown. It's just also letting you take my card because of the way that it works. I just I was just having a stroke. Coming for 4 again. I like her and want to play her, but I also like winning. I mean, so like that's like my whole thing is like I'm too competitive to like play these decks that are like questionable. Like, I love Dash. Dash is like my first love of the game. Like, I love playing Dash. Like, Dash is great, but I just sometimes Dash just doesn't get you across the finish line. What is this for 7?
6.
So take that. I need to do this way so I can get a card out of my hand. Are you about to pummel me? I'll just go ahead and put this on the bottom. I might as well. Intertesting. This is to put a non-attack action card.
Yeah, it gives my Blood Rush back on top of my deck.
That's a cool card. We gotta block that one though.
Yep.
I cannot be letting you have Blood Rush back. I gotta survive the Blood Rushes that I can. How many have you played? 1? Is that seriously all you've played?
2? I think I played 2. Yeah, I played back-to-back Blood Rush on you.
Oh, there it is. I see the second one. I was like, dude, if I'm at 22 and you've only played 1 Blood Rush, I was like, I cannot tell you how over this game is for me. I was like, because you probably run Remembrance to shuffle them back in, too, if I had to guess. There's probably like some number of Remembrance in your deck.
Yeah.
That's generally a pretty common strategy. Pitch Terrace under the bottom. Arsenal this. This hand's not great. I mean, let's start here. So 3 and 4, so that's 8. And then I can have a decent swing back turn. You can't pummel me here, so there's nothing to be worried about. I think I'm going to put that on the bottom. Okay, so that was a good decision. I mean, I guess I'll do this just to get value off the Quicken token. Even though it doesn't matter. I hope over LL format they just bring back heroes after amount of time, like power creep happens, and they could just make a few tech cards each and set them matchups that more playable. I mean, that would be a cool way to like set the game back up. I don't think that that's what they'll do just because of the LL format that they're talking about. Like, I mean, it's possible that they'll bring them back, but I would dare say that they'll probably just keep cards the way they are, like keep things the way they are, because that's the intentions of the LL format. The LL format has kept me from selling a lot of my cards. 100% has. Like I have kept a lot of my cards just off the back that I know LL is going to be good. I'm honestly really looking forward to that. I'm probably just going to play Chain like exclusively through LL format. Yeah, I mean, this is terrifying that you have a pummel here, but I don't think I can play around it. It's like, I don't know, you're also playing like your... That's also scary, but I can't stop it. Oh, you hit Scab Skins for 6. I wasn't paying attention to that. And you can claw me here too, if you have a blue or yellow, I guess. I feel like I'm not trading down very well this game. You can have the LL format, just let heroes come back into standard. I mean, yeah, they could definitely do something like that. I would be interested to see if they actually ended up doing that. Just off the back of like, I don't know, like how the game would play. All right, last Blood Rush Bellows. What'd you discard?
I played that wrong.
You want to back up? Like restart
Yeah.
I was like, restart the turn and let's play it right. I was like, I'd rather play a good game. I refuse to play versus Starvo, even if you give me Chain. I don't like... So like honestly, like I'm one of those people, like maybe enough time has passed. Here, let's restart to the prior turn. Hang on 1 second. Restart. Yeah. Revert to the start of this turn. There we go. Like if you give me Chain, I'd play against Starvo. Like maybe it's just been too much time and I don't remember how broken Starvo was, but so you put a Humble into your hand. I'll get that Remembrance out of here. You love to see that. Not that it really matters at this point. Probably not going to be able to fatigue you. At least it definitely doesn't feel that way. For 9. Oh man, God, I'm just sitting here hoping I don't die this turn. I'm just gonna pass and play Staunch here. Hopefully, like taking 1 maybe helps me stay alive here. I've never fought it, and from the horror stories I'm hearing, with me having 0 games on Chain, it's a nope for me. I mean, yeah, you were definitely like, it was like definitely a requirement to have like games of Chain on you to like make that matchup good. Like that was like, you definitely had to have that. Getting food sounds good, man. Yep. This is not looking good for you, boy. That being me, but I just don't feel like I've pressured you enough this turn or this game. I mean, you having Sigil, like, don't get me, it's a card you're not attacking me with, so, you know, Silver Lining and all that.
I seen one on turn 0 too.
Yeah, I was like, that's the third one you've played this game. I think that's all three of them.
Yeah, it's all three. And then
Yeah.
I had back-to-back Blood Rush on you. That's what hurt the most.
I mean, it's definitely very good. Like, but I think this is these kinds of draws are like what give you a favorable matchup. Into me, because like I can just like, this is one of those decks where like I can only block so much, and you can take so many cards out of my hand every turn. It's just, oh no, don't definitely don't want to heave that. I mean, I would love to heave that, but I can't. Oh my gosh, can we get like a 1 or something, please? Oh man, I was like, these 6s, you're murdering my soul.
This might be a crazy turn.
Don't say that. Just lie to me. Tell me everything's gonna be okay.
It's not.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's go Fate. We'll put that on the bottom. I want to keep that in my deck for later. And then let's go Fate. Bring this back down to 6. I guess we'll put that on the bottom too. Not really sure what we're looking for here, but I go to 6, and then I assume Claw. No, okay. The fact that you haven't had to use Gambler's Gloves yet is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like you roll 1s against me more than like anybody else in the world when we play, but I was kind of hoping you'd see one at some point. Okay. So you only intimidate the 1 time off of that. And you took an Autumn's Touch. Six, 7. Which means I take 2. Hammer. I mean, I feel like I'm hanging on for dear life right now. I just don't know how much longer I can keep this up. If we were playing in a tournament right now, I'd just be praying that you banish your only remembrance. Damn, would be cool if I had any tempo and I wasn't at 4. Problem is I'm at 4 and you still have 2 Reckless Rage in your deck.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
Yeah, I was like,
I pitched him.
Yeah, I was like, as long as they're still in your deck, all you have to do is like hang on to them to actually kill me. Because there's so few things I dominate that you can just like throw them and like you can block with whatever cards don't actually hit. And I assume you're on 3.
I'm on 2.
2?
Yeah, it's clanky on 3.
Oh, is it? Okay. I'll take your word for it. I was like, you were like the group's Rhinar player, so. How many of those do I have left in the deck? 1. Yeah, that's terrifying. So I have to hang on to that. That is not good for me. So I have to just not die somehow and then also balance. And then I have to balance not dying and not dying to Reckless Rage. Seems like not a good combo for me. So get to block 5. We'll swing 8 here. Oh, you had 2 6s? You discarded both of them? Oh, man. I was hoping maybe you were out of 6s. Maybe I could get lucky and you would just be out of 6s.
Yeah, when I pitch them, I always try to pitch 6s around them.
Yeah, dude. I was like, you played that really well. I was like, you took me off of like tempo very early and like you just like kind of pushed damage the whole game. That was like, you played that really well. I kind of figured, like, I was like, man, he hasn't played a reckless swing yet. I was like, and that is not good for me being at 4.
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna play another one?
Yeah, I'll play another one, bro.
Let's do it. Pretty off topic, but I feel as if playing Death Shadow and MTG has spoiled me, and it's why I like Shadow so much. I mean, it's very possible that that's the case. Like it is like. I mean, like honestly though, like I got something on the screen. What is that? Like, dude, Death Shadow is a cool deck. Like, Death Shadow is a lot of fun, and like, that is definitely something that like, if you played Death Shadow at any point and like you really enjoyed the gameplay, like you definitely feel like you're used to a like certain style or like a certain set of cards, like feel very accustomed. Being able to open the game on Command & Conquer Pummel is a pretty good start for us. I'm just going to take 3 here. I have a pretty good tempo turn. We get to reveal both of these. Now, unfortunately, I can't play the Endless Winter because I don't have my Tunic resource up yet. Being able to go Rouse the Ancients into Endless Winter is cracked. We do get to throw Hammer here, though. So Nick knows we're going to Arsenal the Endless Winter. So, I mean, still an 11-point turn. We took 3 to serve 11. So, I mean, I would consider that a pretty good exchange. We can just block 6 here and then throw this fused. Ended up drawing an ice card, which is pretty sweet. this is what it feels like, how you kind of have to play if you're going to beat Reinar. You have to like be in the driver's seat pretty early if you're playing Oldhim. I played pretty heavy into the thought of life as a resource in EDH. I tend to spend most of my health points, so I get that. Like, your life total is a resource, like, and like there's a lot of like newer players and like people that like start getting into like card games, and they always think, man, I need to stay alive, yada yada yada. And it's like, if you use your life total as a resource, like that's one of the things that I think it took me a while to learn, if I'm being completely honest with you, like as a newer player. Card games is one of those things that like I have never been like naturally very good at. I have had to spend some hard times like teaching myself to be good at card games. Let's crown this away and see what we find here. Mostly because I want to Arsenal. I mean, that's also an option. So let's pitch this here. Like, I don't see a reason that we shouldn't pitch that and try to set up a pitch stack. Fate Foreseen, we know that if the game goes grindy, we'll get to second cycle pretty quickly. Card games are my main game type I enjoy. I love deck building and just breaking anything I can. So, I mean, like, I completely understand that. Like, card games are, like, it's by far my most played thing nowadays. Like, I love to play card games in general. Like, I'll play almost any card game people want to play. But, like, growing up, I played a lot of video games growing up. Like, growing up, it was always, like, Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat. Like, I played a lot of video games when I was growing up. And so, like, playing card games is something that I've had to, like, really put a lot of time into. I didn't start playing card games until I was like 18. And I've really spent a lot of time, or no, I was 19 when I started playing cards. But it's something I've really had to spend a lot of time on working on and trying to like teach myself how to be good at things like that. It's like, let's get a 1. It was Yu-Gi-Oh for me till I found MTG. Okay, so I played Yu-Gi-Oh like growing up as a kid. Like, we played Yu-Gi-Oh. We never really played by the rules, but we did play Yu-Gi-Oh growing up. I don't really know what we're looking for here. I think getting Nick to use his crown here is probably worth off of our Terra Sunder play. I mean, he could have like a sink below. We've only seen one so far, so it's very possible that like his last card is like a sink below, in which case he can just give me scabs and then sink. Or if it's not a defense reaction, he gives me a card from hand and Crown of Providence. There are some times when you have tempo like this and you're playing Oldhim and you're thinking, man, I wish I had a Nothos right here so that I could just, this hammer could be for 7 and then be like, good luck stopping it. But yeah, Dad, we played Yu-Gi-Oh growing up as kids. We had those like what, the dual discs or whatever those things you put on your arms. We used to have those. Me and my cousin used to run around and play like when I was a kid. We never played by the rules because we were like 8 and didn't understand games at all at that point. Like, we just kind of did whatever we wanted there. Like, some of my fave games to play are Slay the Spire, Gwent, Eternal Shadowverse, OSFE, Alina of the Arena, etc. So I'm gonna be honest. I know Gwent, and I know Slay the Spire. I don't know all of those. I really mostly played Magic. Like, when I got into card games, I'm very competitive, so I find something that I like and I try to play it as much as I can. That's just kind of like my personality, honestly. I recall those. They broke so fast. Yes, they broke a lot. I do remember that. I still see some people have them. It's honestly hilarious to me. It's like a freaking meme. Intimidate. Intimidate again. Intimidate some more. Yeah, I mean, throwing equipment here is probably kind of a waste, but thank God we had that sink below in our arsenal. We wouldn't have had anything to do. I was really hoping that Nick would leave me with one of my 3-block cards there. I really need to keep the card that's in my hand to have a decent turn. So if Nick would have left me with like the mulch or the cranial crush, I definitely would have blocked with that and the sink below. So I've played a lot. I mean, a lot of card games. I mean, it sounds like you've played a lot of card games over the years, which is cool. I play the games till my deck is no longer playable. Then if I can't find one to swap it out, I'll play something else. I mean, I suppose that's a way to play card games. Like, it's like, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with playing card games that way. I was like, I'm normally somebody, I would say, like, it's really funny. I'm normally the opposite. I find a card game that I like or something I like to do, and I'll just do it. Like, I will just continue to like play that game for like years. Like, I've been playing Fortnite since it came out, pretty much. Me and Crowley still play a lot of Fortnite, honestly. I mean, I guess let's just Tunic Crown and see what we can find here. It does give Nick an option to take other cards from our hand. I think we'll just pass, play the Fate Foreseen here, and then we'll arsenal our other defense reaction. We'll put that on the bottom. We're just turning through cards again. We take 1 here. Doesn't feel like a bad turn. And then we get to throw Spinal. Heart has no effect, but we're just throwing Spinal Crush, which is good. Like with MTG, once Modern died for me, I played a bit of Standard. Then I played Vintage and Legacy on MTGO. Oh, gotcha. So like once you like weren't having fun with Modern, you just like got into a different format. Like I completely get that. I've pretty much played every format of Magic except for Vintage. Vintage is like the one thing I never got into. I'm not a fan. It doesn't impress me. Like, it's just expensive and like dumb, in my opinion, which a lot of people disagree with. But that is pretty much how I've always felt about Vintage as a whole. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can take 1 this way. And I get to throw Hammer. And yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like, I don't see a problem with. So if we block Rampart here, we pitch our. Well, yeah, I should have pitched the Glacial Footsteps. Not that it matters. We're going to Earth React with Oldhim. And then we're going to play Sink Below. And I'm not going to sink anything because my hand's viable. And if I draw, like if I sink my Glacial Footsteps and I draw a red, I can no longer hammer. And my turn is just Arsenal Pass. So I'd rather throw Hammer here. I take 1, go to 28, and then I'm going to throw 4. And then I'm going to Arsenal my Staunch Response, which is just, it's my best defense reaction in this matchup. And having it in my arsenal is an extremely valuable play. Let's see. Vintage is still playable for me. Like Legacy is iffy for me right now, and EDH is only fun if I can get certain people. I like to play Semi-Complice. Okay. Like high power that can compete with competitive decks but are not trying to combo off as fast as comp. I mean, so like that's fair. Like I feel like a lot of those like older formats, and honestly Commander as a whole, is really just like how quickly can I get to my combo? Like how quickly can I run out my cards and make it worthwhile? Ooh, yikes. I mean, I say yikes. Like, this is fine, I guess. Not really. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like, I can't really use my arsenal here. And, like, if Nick intimidates a bunch, there's only 1 card I'm really comfortable blocking with. So if Nick intimidates that card, then I'm in a pretty bad spot. Okay, so Nick was kind enough to leave me the one card that I want to block with. The problem is that my one card came on a turn when Nick plays a beatdown, which means I can't just block with both my cards and get value here. I've been playing Tassiger for years, and I used to run no combos, so I would win often. But the games would take an hour or two. I enjoy grinding games, but most others don't. I mean, so I think like the. Uh-oh. Nick, you still in the game, brother? Nick?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, my game like just picked up and was lagging, so I was trying to see. So like I'm honestly not a big fan of Commander, and it's like most people don't agree that I have a good reason for not liking Commander. Oh, do you still have an action point?
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. Well, I'm taking quite a bit of damage this turn. What did I take? 7 and then 6. I took 13 points that turn. Like those are exactly how I lose the game because Nick hasn't played a single Blood Rush yet. Right? Am I crazy? Have you not played one yet?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, see, it's terrifying. So with my playstyle and power level decks I can't play with most of my LGS or it's a non-game. I mean, like, I understand that. I really do. Like, I completely get that. They're like, so I tried to play Commander one time, and it was, I actually worked at a local game store that we had for a while here where I live in Tennessee when I was in college. And a bunch of the people that I hung out with worked at the store, and they were all like, oh, like play Commander. And I was like, all right, like, you know, it seems more of a casual thing than it does like competitive, but I'll play it. Like, what the heck? And so I remember like I played it, and they built me this like Niv Mizzet infinite combo, like kill you in one turn deck. And it could do it on like turn 2 or 3, like pretty decently consistently. And I just remember like, they built me this deck, and then they would literally just like they would just like target me off the table, and I would be like, you all built me this deck just so you all could kill me first. I was like, this is not fun. Like I did not show up to play Commander to play like this. So I understand your feeling. I feel like the grindier games of Commander, honestly, what it's for and like what's fun about it. Plus, like CEDH as a format just kind of feels like a meme to me. Uh-oh, that's scary. It's like intimidate. Rawr. So, how do you have 2 floating?
Skullcrack.
Oh, Skullcrack. Yes, thank you. I always like have a stroke when I see that card. I don't know what I want to do here. I don't know what the best line of play is. So I think we're just going... No, I can't block with all of those. So,
you have no ice cards in that deck?
I have what's it, Winter's Grasp? Or whatever it's called. I have that, that's it. I cut the channel like Frigids to put in Zealous Beltings to make my Guardian Mirror better. Or the Guardian matchup better. I wanted to test it and see if it was good enough. So now we'll just use our Staunch Response here. Like, we're wasting 2 points of block here, but I think it's worth keeping our 6-point life lead. Because there's nothing Nick can do for 0 resources here, even with his go again. And then we'll throw Hammer and Arsenal into the defense reaction, which feels pretty good. I like CEDH. I love the interaction when everyone has a broken deck. No one has a broken deck. I mean, so like CEDH, like, again, I'm not like knocking competitive Commander. Like, you know, I believe that, you know, different things for different people. Like, so like, I mean, I'm glad you enjoy it, man. Like, that's awesome. I just like, I cannot get into like competitive Commander. It makes me want to throw myself off a bridge, if you want the God's honest truth. I was like, let's get a 1. Let's get something lacking here. Oh. All right, so I think I'm about to make an insanely greedy play and take 8. Which I can't imagine there's a world where that's correct. But I'm going to try it and see what happens. Also, super fast combo decks are food for Tasigur. My build changes from time to time, but being interaction heavy and the sheer value Tasigur can grind can force fast decks to slow down. I mean, yeah, so like Tasigur is a very grindy card. Like, Tasigur's sweet. Tasigur's like one of like the first like cards that like I really like really played heavily like on a competitive level, because Tasigur was like that card when I got into when I got into the game. Hand's only 11 points, but Command and Conquer is pretty relevant here. Same. I mean, I kind of figured that you really like Tasigur if you were playing it as your commander like that regularly. So, I mean, Tasigur's a cool card, and Tasigur does some broken things. Like, Tasigur's a very good card, and it has a very high power level. I got into Modern when Grixis Delver was still a thing. Yeah, me too. Ew, what is this hand? I mean, oh, the trigger's when it leaves anywhere from the combat chain, right?
Yeah.
So I can play Staunch and cover this up. Or I can block with Crater Fist. No, I can't go to 1. I can't go to 1. You have Reckless Swings in your deck. Okay, never mind. Let's stop being a buffoon. Although I won't lie, part of me wants to live that dream where I just go to 1 here against Rhinar, which is just bad.
They're probably like 20 cards away, 15 cards away.
I mean, still, though, I wasn't paying attention to when you pitched them both. So, honestly, and plus, if we were playing, I wouldn't know that you're not playing a third. So, I wouldn't be like...
I think most Rhinar decks plays with only 2.
Really? Is that a common thing?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if this can close out the game. Hopefully Nick doesn't have a defense reaction here to slow me down here. I got into Modern when Grixis Delver was still a thing. It was value Jund for me. Just grind him out. 1 mana, play a 4/5, hold up interaction at end of turn Tasigur effect. I mean, yeah, it was like that was the format then. Like that, like it was a really fun format. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. You missed Probe, dude. Probe was a sweet card. Probe was a sweet card. That's like one of those cards that I can like totally just like get on board with. You have another one?
Nope. Then you draw it.
Ooh. Good game, boss.
Yeah, brother. All right, brother. I'll see you later.
All right. Thanks for playing, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right. So 3-1 on the night so far. I'm going to be honest. I don't really feel done playing games yet. So I was like, I know it's like 9:30 already, but I don't really feel done playing games yet. So I think I'm just going to keep grinding out Oldhim games here. Oh, That's the last Talishar game we were just playing. I gotta go copy the Oldhim link real quick. Oldhim CC, copy deck link to clipboard. Playing Oldhim, need practice for tourney. I've been putting this lately when I've been playing Oldhim because Oldham's technically hit Living Legend, and so it's kind of out of the format, but I also like need to play it to practice it, so I can't not play it, but I also want people to know up front. That they're getting into a game of Oldhim. So I don't know. Like a lot of people when I streamed last night were just like jumping in, seeing I was Oldhim and leaving, and I'm like, I don't blame you, but I'm like at the same time, like I just need to jam games. That's what we love to hear. I appreciate it, man. Hey, Creative, what's going on? How are you, buddy? I think last night my losses were to an Icelander and to an Azalea. The Azalea definitely knew what they were doing. We got close to fatiguing them, I think. I mean, not really. They still had like 12 cards in their deck, but we got kind of close. The thing that scared me the most about that game going into the end of the game is that they still had all their codexes. And Codex is one of those cards that will run you over at the end of the game if you're not prepared for it. The Azalea player that I played against last night was a very good Azalea player. They definitely knew what they were doing. They were playing the New Horizon. They were playing New Horizon and Dreadbore, which was what I've come to expect from playing against Azalea players now with Oldhim. But it was a good game. Like my opponent earned their win for sure. I cut Remembrance in this matchup and just present 70 cards into them. I guess I could cut Zealous Beltings and present 67. Calvin Klein, but with K's instead of C's. I like it. It's fun. Good. Keep debating on buying some cardboard. I got paid today. Oh, dude, brother, I have been there. Payday is a scary day for cardboard. I have been there too many times, my friend. I don't really want to waste my pummel here, but I do think that throwing Chokeslam, they'll probably give us 2 cards here. Have you practiced with Azalea yet? So like, is my opponent's last card good? It's probably not worth me not arsenaling a card here. I mean, plus we have Command and Conquer Pummel. Insane. Yeah, Creative, I understand that Payday can be scary. Payday can be a scary day for cardboard. I have spent many a day sitting at my work computer looking at TCG player cards. I have been there. I'm intrigued that my opponent's playing Cross Wrap. I think my opponent was playing No, I think the Azalea we beat was playing Cross Wrap last night. Cross Wrap? Yeah, Cross Wrap. And then the opponent that I lost to was playing New Horizon. So we just don't care about this. I mean, Seek and Destroy is cool, but we're not going to have any cards. So I guess I'm just blocking with a Spinal Crush here. Because I can't, but Dreadbore says I can't play my Fate Foreseen. Yeah, I really hate to take 5 here, especially when they don't have an arsenal. But this is dominated. So, I mean, I would have had to have played quite a hand there. It's nothing more disappointing than when your Command and Conquer turn doesn't really like line up the way you need it to. It is always a little disappointing. At least we make them discard a card here. Reasons I play Azalea: 1, Red in the Ledger, and 2, New Horizons. Oh, reasons you don't play Azalea? Yeah, no, I mean, it's It is a very expensive deck. Like, Azalea is a very expensive deck. So, like, honestly, it's like, so Nationals at the end of August, and I'm playing in Nationals, and I'm pretty excited about it, but I don't own any Ranger cards. And I was talking to the team last night, and I told him, I said, hey, I just need y'all to be aware that if come National season, Lexi or Azalea is the best deck, oh, you do play Azalea. Oh, I got you. Okay. I thought when you said that it's expensive, you didn't play it because of that you were saying you don't, but I misunderstood. But yeah, I mean, like, you're not buying New Horizons. Oh, you play Azalea because you don't want to buy New Horizons. I'm following now. I was having a stroke for a minute, but I'm following now. So thank God we have all of our equipment, because this is going to be for 7 dominate. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's nothing they can do to pump this here. I'm going to pitch the Terrace Under, play Sigil on my turn, go to 38, and then I'm going to Arsenal the Spinal Crush, and we have Tunic Crown up, so it's a pretty good place to be at. Tunic Crown with Staunch Response is also good, and we have an Earth React here. This feels like a pretty decent hand. Maybe I just want to cut the Zealous Beltings in this matchup. I'm not super worried about running out of cards against Azalea or Alexi, so maybe that's the game plan here. Yeah, and Lexi can't red. Red Ledger's your favorite arrow. Red Ledger's a very good, Red Ledger's a very good card. It's like the aggro destroyer. So I understand why you like it. It's a good card. Red Ledger's a sweet card. Like, I 100% why you like that card. So okay, so this is going to be for 8 dominate. So we had to give up almost all of our equipment to be able to save the what we were doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, so if we block Zealous Belting, Ram's Head, Pitching, Rouse, Earth React, we pay for the Pox token and Arsenal Staunch. I think that's our best line here. And we're just going to 36 here. Like, I think this is a fine line. The on hit isn't super relevant because they already have a Ponder. Them seeing a second card doesn't really change my process or decision making there. So I think that's fine. The one card that we really need to be worried about is Release the Tension in this matchup. That's the card that will do a lot of damage to us with if we have our arrows or our defense reactions in our arsenal. I want to crack packs so bad. Also, there is still equipment I need. So I buy a case of every new set that comes out. Carly is my girlfriend for anybody who doesn't know. But Carly and I, we crack packs together every time a new set comes out. It's like one of my favorite things to do. She's not normally big into she's not big into Flesh and Blood. She played Magic with me for a while, but she's not really big into Flesh and Blood. And I think that cracking packs has become our new thing to do every time a set comes out, and it's actually a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm just gonna Staunch Response this here. I'm not really playing around Razor or anything. They could have Rain Razors there. And because that has Go again, they can still... I was like, yep. So this is for 8, 3, 6, 7, 8. We have to give up all of our equipment here. We have to give up the rest of our equipment except for Tunic. But, I mean, Tunic only really counts when we're trying to save Rampart in, like, a crappy situation here. I bought 10 boxes of Outsiders. Oh, my gosh, brother. 10 boxes? Brother. I mean, listen, if you enjoy cracking packs and you're not like financially harming yourself, then I say have at it. But man, 10 boxes is a lot. Not even going to tell on myself on historic packs. I bought a box of history packs. And the only reason that I bought that box was because I had like I think I spent like $10 on the box because I had a whole bunch of store credit from a tournament that I'd played in and won, so that was kind of cool. This is just 5 dominate. I would have rather have kept the sigil if I could have here, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, all I will say is more than a case. I mean, 10 boxes is already more than a case. So we've established that you buy more than a case of most sets. So now I'm intrigued to know how much more than a case you bought. I don't know if you ever bought any Everfest at all, but we had a buddy. I won't divulge his name to make it public or anything because I am streaming to the internet. He bought 20, 24, or 25 boxes of Everfest. Like, it was like 25 boxes of Everfest. And the crazy part is this is when Arcanite Skullcap was like $100, and he still never bought one. Like, he still never opened a Arcanite Skullcap. Okay, so I know they have Boulder Trap now. So now we have to play around it, which means we're no longer hammering here. Because if they're on 1, they're probably on 2. So now we gotta be fully aware of the fact that we're playing around Boulder Trap the rest of the game. So this is for 5 go again. I'm just gonna block 5, pitch the mulch here, and then I'll still have a resource floating for crown. I'm doing it this way instead of crowning first so that I can, 1, prevent the on hit unless they have a Rain Razors. And then I'm also playing around the fact that if he has a Codex here, I don't get blown out because I still have my arsenal here. I try to avoid Everfest. The return is too bad. So this is when Everfest first came out, and it was like very popular. But I am inclined to agree with you. The return on Everfest is not great. So this does not have go again. This is for 6. 3, 4, 5, and then we're gonna pay 1 into the Ram's Head here. So we actually get to block for 2 on this chain link with the Ram's Head because of the way that they actually sequence their turn with the Bullseye Bracers. If they had used Bullseye Bracers first on the Bolton shot, then we wouldn't have got to do that. Now, my opponent didn't know that I was gonna block that out. Like, they may have thought to themselves, like, I need to, if the Bolton shot hits, they get to reload and attack again. So, I don't know, give and take there. I've bought a little of Crucible and the set with Icelander in it. I bought a lot of Outsiders and History. Yeah, so, I mean, like, there are a lot of people who buy packs, and, like, that's a win for me, who buy packs. And so, like, I understand when people, like, buy packs. And there's, like, nothing wrong with buying packs. And like, honestly, I enjoy buying packs on some level. Or not packs, sorry, boxes. I don't like just a few packs. Yeah, so, like, that's kind of always been, like, my logic behind that, is that I like to I I actually like to open, like, that's why I like to buy a case of every set. One, because I like to have all the commons laying around so that I can build any common, like any deck with commons that I want. And two, I really like opening like just one box feels like so little to me. And so that's why like I buy a case of each set. Okay, so if you guys want the God's honest truth, I am no longer playing around Boulder Trap. Most lists only play 2. I don't know an Azalea list that plays 3 Boulder Traps. So I'm probably going to be back on hammering when I have the available resources. I'm probably also going to try to take this turn to go Zealous Belting Pummel here. Actually, am I just going to put the pummel on the bottom? No, I just put the, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, I put Pulverize on the bottom. So this is for 4. I think I'm just going to sink below this here and not sink below. I think that's the play here. And I'm just going to go for Zealous Belting Pummel because it looks like I'm just going to have a go again turn. But I actually thoroughly enjoy the pummel play here because it's something people never expect. Nobody ever expects you to pummel the Zealous Belting. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. I buy a case for the odds on a legendary, and I want to have good bits of their rare cards so I don't have to buy many singles. Yeah, like, no, I completely understand that. And, like, that's a lot of, like, my logic behind it, too. It's very convenient to have the cards you need laying around when it comes time. Like, so, like, brother, I completely hear you. Well, Arsenal, our fate foreseen. Definitely feels like we're in the driver's seat right now. I mean, that could change at any moment. Azalea is a very, like, tempo-driven deck. They could very easily swing tempo. They activated Cross Wrap. They put a card on top. And then they activate Battering Bolt. So he's going to pitch a red to throw Battering Bolt. Oh, he's going to Battering Bolt me for 9. Okay. I see you, opponent. So we get to block Glacial, Endless Winter. Oh, it has Dominate. Is there any way for me to get around this? Am I just going to have to discard my sink below here? Am I going to have to go block Glacial, pitch for this, and then take 1? Alright, I'm about to do the thing where I give up Tunic when I feel like I might not have to. I do this sometimes. Oh, I didn't mean to click undo block, sorry. I do this sometimes when I'm valuing certain things. Like, my sink below is very good here. We'll put that on the bottom for Earth React. Let's see. Like in crew, I got a regular Tunic, and the wizard, I got the legs. Oh, the Storm Striders, and a few other hitters, and an outside, I got the Codex of Frailty. Oh, Marvel Codex of Frailty. That's awesome. And the arms and the chest piece and the leg set I got here are Marvel. Sadly, it's only her young. Oh, I got you. Tunic is better than Sink. I have 36 HP. I assume that's what you meant to say. So it's definitely possible that keeping the Tunic was more value for me than the Sink below over the course of the game. I'm not going to argue with you and say that I was correct in making the decision that I made, because it's very possible I just made the wrong one. And I do that. There are, like, this is one of the few decks that I will actually throw my throw my my tunic at a relatively early time. So this is for 8. Go again. I think I'm just going to take 1 here and see whatever they reload. No, I'm going to block the pummel here. Because they'll reload something here. I mean, I don't really care about this. Like, this card is not intimidating to me. Taking 1 action doesn't bother me. And yeah, it's like very possible that I would have gotten more value out of the tunic over the course of the game. The one thing that I would say to like argue my point of blocking with tunic is that I'm trying to arsenal a defense reaction every turn. So having the tunic doesn't, like, my best use that I can have with tunic is tunic crown. And so like I'm just preventing myself from having tunic crown that way by blocking with the tunic. I guess it also leaves me open to arsenaling a Command and Conquer or a pummel and playing into drawing one or the other. That's also a very reasonable thing that I could play to by having those cards. Battering bolt. Release attention again, huh? So it's going to be for 9, and I can't play D-Reacts from Arsenal. So yeah, I mean, I don't have anything that like really matters here. I mean, I'm just going to take 2. There's no effects that they get from hitting me. They do know the cards in my hand, but I'm more than content to just throw hammer here and then arsenal my CNC. My CNC could come up next turn at a more relevant turn. Stream Elements bot doing work in the chat. Every time they block with a card or just say no blocks, it's honestly like a win in my book because I'm just getting ever close. I'm either getting ever closer to their life total being gone or I'm getting ever closer to fatiguing them. Okay, Spire Sniping is cool because it allows them to see what they're doing, like what they're looking at. Now, the good thing for me is that they can't go bottom at all. They do have to go top. I keep having pumps, which is unfortunate for me here. Hey, Carly, plug on my YouTube channel. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. I think we're... So... This is unfortunate. Dreadbore doing a lot of work here. Pairing with Seek and Destroy. So, I have 2 options here. I honestly think the answer is take 6 here. And then I'm just going to pitch all of my cards. Spire Sniping without Death Dealer. I mean... I assume they're doing what they got to do here. Most people play Dreadbore into me. Oh, you got a 2-block you're going to give me here? I mean, if you're giving me a 2-block here... Okay, so... Why the heck did they block with Tunic? So... Lace with Frailty. Block 2, take 2. I get to throw hammer for 4. And then I get to play Sigil and go to 23. And then Arsenal Endless Winter here. I think this puts me in a pretty decent spot. Like, I feel okay with where I'm at right now in the game. Thought I'd played both my staunch responses. Oh, no, I put one to the bottom earlier. This is pitch stack. Going crazy. Not like I'm winning the game crazy. Just, I'm going crazy. What do we put on top of our deck? Fatigue shot? Okay, I was like, because I was like, it feels like my opponent doesn't really understand that they're, see, if I was good, I'd know what I pitched. So this is for 8. So I'm about to make one of the craziest plays I've ever made. I'm going to take 7 here. And I'm going to tell you why. Because somebody told me last night, and we saw it work, it was very accurate, that if you play Rouse, Fatigue Shot does not half Rouse. Which is really cool. It doesn't, because it halves the 0 and it checks nothing and then it gets +7, which is really cool to me. Like, I think that's a pretty sweet line. I'm not gonna lie, that's something that makes me pretty happy to like watch inside. To just like see that happening. Now my opponent will take Hammer here. Probably. I mean, if they want to have a hand. Of course, going to 2 against me is also extremely terrifying. So they go to 4. And then I have a hand that just throws Macho Grande here. Yeah. Arsenal, big boy. I'm just going to throw Macho here. Take 5. No. That was a good game, though. My opponent, my opponent played well. Like, it wasn't like they played poorly or anything. Like, this is just a good matchup for Oldhim. If you're not on the cross New Horizons build. Like, it's just tough for these decks to keep up with what Oldhim's trying to do. All right, so we went 3-2 last night, and we went 4-1 tonight. I feel like tonight I had shaken more of the rust off from last night from playing Oldhim. Hadn't played Oldhim in like a week or 2, and so I feel like I shook off quite a bit of the rust from playing Oldhim. That was it for me for the night, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out, keeping me company. I was like, appreciate the new follow, Dead. I will not be live tomorrow or this weekend, playing in a 1K on Saturday. And then I will, we're doing Father's Day on Sunday. So I'll probably be back on next Tuesday. If I had to guess, it'll be the next day I'll be live. Also, I'm going to go on my Twitch rant here before I get off, because I'm trying to do it every night. At the end of the month, starting in July, Twitch is updating their guideline policies, which does not allow me to multi-stream at all through Twitch. So starting in July, I will be live on YouTube, Kick, and Facebook, but I will no longer be live on Twitch. So if you like my content, you want to support me, check me out on YouTube, check me out on Kick. Check me out on Facebook if you want. Like, you guys can hit !YouTube or !Kick and find the links to those channels. So, and I know I've had a few people who just started watching me recently through Twitch. So while I do really appreciate the support on Twitch, I can't continue to stream on Twitch with their new guidelines and policies. So anyway, rant over. Appreciate you guys hanging out, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good weekend, guys.